Are we watching a cover-up? Is Jeffrey Epstein the fall guy for Les Wexner? The Department of Justice recently made a major oopsie when they released 3.5 million pages of the Epstein files. And in these files, they mistakenly redacted the photograph and name of Leslie Wexner. Why would they do that? Especially considering that they had him listed as a co-conspirator in the Epstein scandal.
Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document?
Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
Leslie Wexner is the wealthiest man in Ohio with a $10+ billion net worth. He's the founder of Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie and Fitch, and many other major brands, one of the largest retailers in the world. And by age 40, Leslie Wexner had a plus $1 billion net worth.
John Glenn sat me down and he said, "You could retire." I was about 40 years old, and I said, "Yeah, John, I could."
In and around this time, this is when Les Wexner begins to get into the world of philanthropy and step back from being a major retailer. And he begins to form a series of different foundations, with the first being his 1983 Wexner Foundation. He also formed the Mega Group in 1991. And this group is a group of the 50 most powerful business leaders, Jewish business leaders in the world at the time. They only met twice a year, and most people didn't even know what they were or what they were discussing or who was even in the group. No one even knew about this mega group until the late 90s when the Wall Street Journal published an article on its existence. We still don't even know the people who were a part of this group. What we know is it was approximately 50 people, and it was a pro-Israeli lobby, and it was working to influence Middle East policy in the United States. Most concerningly, they had deep ties with the Mossad. Many of the people on this list are believed to be Jeffrey Epstein's early client list. Epstein met these people through Leslie Wexner. Just so we're clear, Leslie Wexner was a powerhouse billionaire with contacts all over the world at the time of setting up the Wexner Foundation and Mega Group in 1991. He was fully established and already maintained deep ties with the Israeli government and the Mossad. Jeffrey Epstein at the time was just a simple money manager for Bear Stearns that was in his early 30s with no real legitimate contacts or placement and really served no value on his own. His value came from his associations with Wexner. Now, just one more minor detail about Leslie Wexner. He flew to Israel in 1999 and met with Ehud Barak, who was the sitting prime minister.
Former Prime Minister Ehud Barak. Did you ever have a relationship with the former Prime Minister?
I happened to be in Israel when he was elected, but before he was sworn in as prime minister. We had a brief meeting in his political office. It wasn't the government office. May have met him in Israel when he was prime minister, but I don't recall. I know that I had dinner with him and I think his wife and daughter and Abigail in New York after he was out of office, I think. I don't think he was prime minister.
Did you ever communicate with the Prime Minister outside of personal meetings, phone calls, emails?
He came here once, I think, for Jewish community stuff, and we went to a football game. That's all I remember.
Also, there are recorded cash transfers of over $2 million that Leslie gave to Ehud Barak.
Would it surprise you if I told you that an FBI report stated a report that the Wexner Foundation transferred at least $2.3 million in U.S. dollars to former Prime Minister Ehud Barak?
Shocked.
Now, we're all focused on the shiny object in the corner of Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell. So let's separate the two for just a moment. In corner A, we have Leslie Wexner, who had major contacts with the Israeli government and the Mossad before he even met Jeffrey Epstein. Now, over here in corner B, we have Epstein / Ghislaine Maxwell. But let's also keep in mind on that corner B that Robert Maxwell, the father to Ghislaine Maxwell, we know for certainty, for a fact, that Robert Maxwell was an intel agent for the Israeli government, working directly for the Mossad. Allow me to continue on this relationship between Epstein and Les Wexner. Jeffrey Epstein lived and ran his business, J. Epstein Co., out of Wexner's New York home. Les Wexner signed power of attorney, gave all of his finances over to Jeffrey Epstein as far back as 1991. Epstein Island and the New York penthouse, where so many crimes are alleged to have been committed, the penthouse and the island were purchased with funds that came from Les Wexner. In fact, every crime committed by Epstein was funded by Les Wexner. Virginia Giuffre, this was the nobody's girl that was hit by a bus and later hung herself. She stated that she was sexually trafficked by Epstein to Prince Andrew, and she stated that she was sexually trafficked by Epstein to Les Wexner inside of Les Wexner's New York penthouse. John Husted, the Ohio senator that voted no on the release of the Epstein files, Les Wexner donated $117,000 to John Husted just 3 weeks prior to him voting no on the release of the files.
U.S. Senator John Husted, and it's been reported that you gave him something like $117,000 in donations. Is that correct?
I don't know how much money I gave him. Is it possible over time I would have given him that much money? It is.
It's recently reported that you gave him $117,000 sometime shortly before he voted no on releasing the Epstein files. Would that sound familiar?
No.
Per Les Wexner's own words, he visited the New York penthouse and Epstein Island. Let's move to some direct quotes from Epstein and Wexner that were released in the Epstein files. Epstein said in a drafted email to Wexner that you and I have gang stuff for over 15 years. And when asked in his recent deposition as to what did Jeffrey Epstein mean by gang stuff, Wexner replied that Epstein was a Brooklyn guy and he talked like that. He routinely used words like gang stuff, which he always understood to mean confidentiality. Now, this particular email here is nearly a smoking gun to me. Epstein writes, I never ever did anything without informing Les. I would never give him up. This is another near smoking gun on Wexner. When Jeffrey Epstein took the plea bargain when he was first found to be soliciting underage girls, this is an email that Les Wexner wrote to Epstein. All I can say is I feel sorry. You violated your own #1 rule. Always be careful. In my book, The Don, 36 Rules of the Bosses, I teach in Rule 31, control the purse. The boss sends the envelope. He who controls the purse wears the crown. As boss, be the arbiter of the purse. Be the arbiter of the money. The man who pays you is your boss. Remember, Les Wexner paid Epstein. The man who pays you is your boss. When the law knocks, threatening 100-year sentence, the boss will go free and you will be the fall guy. When the feds knock on your door, threatening a 100-year sentence, Les Wexner will go free and Giuffre Epstein will be the fall guy. Your position is a farce. And once you have outlived your usefulness and nothing more can be gained from you, you will be expelled from the organization. What do you guys think? I'm RJ Roger. I am the author of The Don, 36 Rules of the Bosses. It's in stores now. Please support the book. Peace and love, and I'll see you next week.